Why does inflation lead to societal unrest and protests? Imagine waking up one morning and finding that the prices of bread, fuel, and rent have all jumped overnight. This sudden change can turn daily life into a struggle. When inflation rises quickly, it hits people where it hurts most, their wallets. Prices for essentials go up, but wages often stay the same. This means families can buy less than they could before. For those living paycheck to paycheck, this creates a lot of stress and frustration. They start feeling like they are falling behind and losing control over their lives. When people cannot afford basic needs like food, housing, or health care, they often become angry. This frustration can boil over into protests or even riots. In history, big jumps in prices for things like bread or fuel have sparked large demonstrations. People march in the streets demanding solutions. Sometimes they call for government action, like lowering prices or increasing wages. Other times, protests turn into calls for political change if they believe leaders are not doing enough. Inflation also makes existing social inequalities worse. Wealthier people with savings or assets can often protect their wealth from inflation. But those who live paycheck to paycheck suffer the most. Rising prices deepen the gap between the rich and the poor. This can cause resentment and feelings of unfairness. People may blame the government or wealthy elites for allowing inflation to spiral out of control. If citizens think their leaders are not managing the economy well, trust in government drops. This loss of trust makes protests more likely because people want to voice their dissatisfaction. In recent years, many countries have seen protests linked to inflation. These protests often focus on rising fuel costs, food shortages, or stagnant wages. Some are short-lived, but others can last 4 weeks or months if economic problems persist. When inflation stays high for a long time, it can lead to political upheaval or even government changes. In extreme cases, unrest can turn violent. All of this shows that inflation is not just about numbers and prices. It affects how people live, how they see their government, and how society functions. When inflation makes it hard to meet basic needs, it sparks anger and protests. Governments and central banks work hard to keep inflation under control because they know it can lead to social unrest if ignored. Understanding this connection helps explain why controlling inflation is so important for stability and peace.